I know that two of you guys have a career. You are manager then, diba? Head manager ka?
I'm actually I transitioned to a human resource business partner.
Lucky.
Ano niya, Jeff?
Dude, that's so lucky. She doesn't have to answer calls after hours.
Yeah.
What about you? Diba ikaw din? Well, I witnessed Jhoie, how she transformed one startup company to one big company in downtown. So, how do you guys manage people?
Again, it's communication. The way how you speak to someone. If there is something that you want them to, if you want them to perform a certain way, you have to communicate it.
So, ganun ka as a leader?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you have to show them how it's done. You can't just say, you do this. You have to go through the process with them. You have to have them experience the process so they see why that's expected of them. Yeah.
How about you?
Well, same thing. Besides communication, I think for me, what I learned is I respect them as if I gave them the same respect as how I want to receive that respect. So I talk to them as people. Like I've always hated the hierarchy mentality.
Oo, diba?
So for me, it's like, talk to me like I'm a person. I'll talk to you as a person. And we can joke all day. And that's what I
So when they talk to you guys, parang hindi kayo manager, para bang level lang.
A certain person is performing a certain way because there's a reason behind it. Either they're not seeing the reason why they should be doing it, or maybe they're just, they're in the wrong business or they're in the wrong position. You have to recognize that.
Kaya, nagamit niyo na ba yung pagiging manager niyo in a very disciplinary way?
I wouldn't say very disciplinary, but when one person does something wrong and it affects the company I wouldn't say negatively, but it affects, like say for example, I work in a service business, and if it impacts the service, immensely, then there are consequences. That's just how work is.
Yeah.
What about
you have to tell them first what they did wrong, how it affected the company, and then why they have to take the consequence.
What about you?
Yeah, I've disciplined people. Then
Human resources, hello.
I manage like 60 people, so it's like you have to discipline them. But at the end of the day, it's just they get disciplined because of the things they do. It's a consequence of the action they did.
It's like they know exactly what to do, but they chose to do otherwise.
Tatawid ko to kasi since naman International Women's Month ito, alam mo yan, stand as a woman, kaya na ba ng isang babae maging leader?
Of course.
And
I've been doing it for freaking 10 years.
I do it all day.
Why? Why is that? What is the quality of a woman that man doesn't have?
I think one thing.
None doesn't have. Na hindi.
What's the difference? We were just talking about this.
It's not about the difference. I think people have. I think it's the perception. I think it's just because of that unconscious bias. Like I don't know if it's unconscious bias, but the fact that when people judge women, we're very emotional, we're bitches, we're like this because we're very authoritative. But because it's a double standards when it comes to men. When men are assholes, that's because they're a great leader. How do you compare that? But for me, it's women can do things what men can do at the end of the day.
Better, I must say.
That's how I look at it.
What about you? Your status with leadership of women?
We were just talking about it the other day. Like Jessica and I both work in a business where majority of the men basically dominate.
It's a very dominated field.
So when we voice out certain things, especially I work in management, and she did too. When there are certain things that we bring up, for example, for the operation, and if there's something that we need to suggest in terms of change that we know it would be beneficial for the operation, most people would think like, oh, why are you being so difficult? Why are you being a bitch? Like you're being emotional.
Who said this?
People.
Coworkers who
are.
Talaga?
Yeah, even people who are in the same position as I am, just because they think I'm a woman and I'm being emotional. I'm not being emotional. I'm telling you this needs to be done at a certain time. It needs to be done. They'd say you don't have to nag me about it. Then if I have sent a follow-up email twice or 3 times, then if you would have done it, I wouldn't have followed up a couple of times. But-
Emotional, right?
Because women look at it in a wider
Yeah.
perspective.
Mhm.
Like one thing I mentioned,
Kasi ang woman may puso.
Yes.
and then one thing I realized as well is because us women, we have to be loud.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We have
To be heard.
To be heard.
To be heard, okay.
You know, that's the whole thing. It's because when we're being loud, that's when the people are start noticing. It's like why, you know. But that's how it is. We have to be loud to be noticed, to be heard, to have that seat on the table. Because it's really hard for a woman to be a CEO,
Mhm.
especially with if we decide to have families, right? If we have kids, so that's when FMLA comes into play. And I don't know if you guys ever read it, but the gender gap in the pay equality is not going to happen.
There's a
Back
huge
then,
gap.
before COVID, it was like in 2030, but because of COVID occurred, that extended another 100 years.
The what?
The
Pay gap.
pay gap for women and men.
Wow.
COVID.
I didn't know. Wow. Kulat ako doon. So you say hindi pa rin nakukuha ng equality ang man
No.
and that's right.
Because you have to understand, women, like for example, I want to be a CEO or I want to be like the president of a company.
Mm.
At the end of the day, the woman will have to say, you know what, I need to put my family first.
Woman
I'm gonna-
basically has more responsibility within the family that she has. Because, I mean, I'm just gonna say it, like society-wise, men are supposed to provide or whatnot, and women are supposed to take care of kids, take care of your husband, take care of chores.
Yeah.
You know, majority of the people don't see that, not unless you're a woman, that you have to juggle stuff at home and that you have to juggle stuff at work.
Diba?
It's
Yeah.
too much, but you know what? You have to find that balance.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I'll start pulling my hair.
Ano ang wala, kasi you guys are in how many years in management?
I forgot.
Many years na in management, right? Ano ang kulang sa lalaki? Ano ang kulang sa lalaki
What do you mean?
in terms of leadership na meron kayo or na meron ng babae? Ano ba ang
I honestly think what women do compares to what men do is almost the same.
Mhm.
But it just looks different from other people when a woman is doing it. How
Wow.
can you help me
That's
word
the-
it better? It's
Yeah, like I think it's just more like it's just more different when a woman's doing. Like you can't say that there's something that women can do that men can't. I don't think you can really justify
Yeah.
that. It's just more on how women does it.
It's like when men
It's-
do it, it's expected of them. When women do it, it's either they're overdoing it or they should be focusing on other things instead of doing. I don't know how to word it.
So,
I really don't know.
kukunin ko ito. Ang sinasabi niya sa akin, ang babae mas organized ang view niya sa leadership compared sa lalaki.
I would
Sa lalaki, masyado lang siyang ego. Ganun ba?
I wouldn't
Well,
generalize
I don't know if it's
it.
like that, but I don't know if it's because it's expected for a man to be a leader.
Yeah.
I don't know. But for me, that's
Bakit
one
ka
thing.
ganun?
That's one thing I learned is being a woman. I think it's because there are so many things in our plate that we have to get things organized. Like
Right.
because we're at work, we have to make sure we get A, B, C, D done.
We
Because at
are,
home-
I mean, let's be honest, we are organized.
But yeah, but
You are there
yeah, by the
organized,
time you
okay.
get home, you still have to do A, B, C, D because you have to cook dinner.
The
clean
reason
house,
why
do your
women
laundry.
is able to do what they're able to do is because they have a list of things to do. Otherwise, we would not have. We won't be able to do it.
Mhm. Yeah. I always believe that women, ako naman, ako lagi, ang vision, ang nakita ko lagi sa woman, nakita ko kasi yung motherhood sa kanila, in them.
Yeah.
Nakita ko sa kanila yung puso, nakita ko yung care. I see the love
nurturing.
sometimes, yes.
Nurture, yeah.
Na, cause some, I mean, I don't want to be, like, I'm not generalizing all of that. Pero nakakita ka na kasi ako, mostly of my leaders are, or my managers, my leaders are women. Sa kanila ko nakita yung thoughtfulness, sa ko nakita sa ibang mga lalaki nakita ko na hindi sila by the book lang sila.
Yeah.
The empathy portion you're missing.
Walang compassion minsan.
That's yeah. That's
I'm looking for that word. Minsan walang compassion yung ibang leader.
I mean, I'm not gonna generalize it, but majority.
No, I'm not
of it,
generalizing also.
Once a man say this is the job, it has to be done.
Mhm.
I mean, for a woman, it has to be done, but how can I help you do it? How can I help you reach the goal that we're trying to reach?
Did anybody intimidate you guys?
Oh yeah.
At work?
In terms of
Yeah,
work or
for sure.
in your career.
In my career, like the whole time I was being a manager, because I'm pretty much the second lead. Like I'm the second person in charge. I was criticized
Oh, talaga.
because of what I'm doing. Everything I do was criticized. That's how that's how
I
crazy it was.
I didn't experience up to that extent.
I was being criticized because one is because it's a male dominated. I have not like younger.
You were
I was younger, less experienced than all of them. Because imagine all the people I work with, they all have like a big maintenance background and everything. I basically went there with more on experience and how do I become a good leader or how do I motivate these people. That's all.
Who had more accomplishment?
Yes. Okay. We're moving forward to a different last topic natin, which is our realization during the whole COVID pandemic.
Okay.
Ano ginawa niyo yung pandemic?
Work.
Nagmahjong. The first few months, nagmahjong. Like, we didn't know what to do. And there was supposed to be like a curfew or whatever. Jeff and I, we would play mahjong with his family, and we would drive home at freaking 1 in the morning, going through Jack in the Box.
Wow.
We didn't really follow it.
Ikaw?
I was working.
Ako hindi. Stayed home.
I mean, I worked
Drank a lot of wine. Wow.
I worked too, but like, obviously it wasn't that
Nagkaroon
big.
ng mga realization during the whole pandemic.
Yes, because my mom passed away during the pandemic.
Yes, okay. How is that for you now?
I mean, I'm okay now. I still talk to her. I got a tattoo. Here you go, Mom. I mean, if my mom was alive and she saw this, she'd be like, oh, anak, ang dumi. But guess what, Ma? You left me, so here.
Take me back dun sa time na yun. I don't want to,
I don't care. I can talk
take me
about
back again.
it. It was tough.
Yeah, I know.
So, because during the pandemic, I was literally spending time with my mother every week. I would spend time with her for either, like, twice a week, Monday through Wednesday, and I would take her grocery shopping, we'll go to the Asian market, we'll go to Target, and I literally will not let her touch anything. I have like a alcohol spray. I was like, what do you need? I'll grab it. Don't touch anything. That's why when my sister called me, I was busy. It was the busiest time of my, it was like February. I was so busy. It was actually 2 days after my birthday. And then my sister kept calling me, and I just wasn't answering. And I was like, what? And then she's like, Mom's dead. I said, excuse me? He's like, Mom's gone. I was like, what do you mean? Like, my body literally went cold, and I was just like, what do you mean she's dead? I just dropped her off last Tuesday. And then she's like, she got COVID, she's gone. They found her in her room, like, you know.
Wow, okay.
That was literally the toughest thing I'd ever have to deal with. Like, I didn't see it coming, like.
The moment that you received that message, you cried right away?
No, I didn't.
You broke, okay.
I didn't cry, because I was just still processing it. And then I told my boss, I said, I gotta go, my mom passed away. My boss was like, what? I was like, I have to go, my mom died. And he's like, okay, go. So I called my aunt, I was driving. And then the moment I told my aunt,
How was the drive?
I called my aunt in San Diego, I said, mom died. And I heard my voice crack. The moment I heard my voice crack, I just cried.
During driving?
I was driving. And my aunt's like, pull over, you shouldn't be driving. No, I said, I need to get to her house.
Were you coming from work?
I was.
Oh, wow.
She
First of all,
she called.
She was.
I think called you, diba?
She was supposed to
Yeah, you
spend
called me.
that weekend with me for my birthday, but she said she'd rather work. And she got sick from Thursday. We spent my birthday weekend at Jeff's family's cabin, and then Tuesday she was just gone. She didn't tell anybody that she was sick. She died in her sleep. So it's like, first it's like confusion. First it was shock, and then confusion,
Yes.
and then anger. because she didn't want to get vaccinated. She was very like, she was like a typical Asian mother who didn't want to get vaccinated. She thought she was allergic. She just didn't want anything to do with the vaccine. And like, I remember my last conversation with my mom when she slept over at my house. I dropped her off the Tuesday prior, the prior to that week. I said, Ma, I understand you don't want to get vaccinated. But I said, I remember holding her knee. I said, Ma, can you just schedule an appointment at Kaiser? I said, I know you don't want to do it for yourself, but I said, can you just do it for us? I was like, so we don't feel stressed, we know that you're protected. And she said, okay, enough, I'll do it. That freaking pinched my heart when I remember I replay that conversation in my head over and over. And guess what? 3 days after my mom passed, they had the drive-through for a senior citizen at the airport available right away.
Wow. So what's the toughest
just trying to process the whole thing that your mom was perfectly healthy. You just came back from a birthday trip and went back to work, and that news just my sister dropped it to me that she's gone. And she had COVID. The COVID vaccine wasn't available yet, so I was with her the week before, so we all had to get tested to make sure everyone was safe. And Junior ended up testing positive that same week. So I was grieving. On top of that, I was stressing that, to make sure that Jeff and I are safe, that Junior's quarantining. You
have lots to work.
And then we had to clear out my mom's belongings. We had to go to the coroner's office. My sister and I basically didn't have time to mourn within that week that my mom passed.
So when was the time that you mourned? You cried, both cried?
2 weeks after.
2 weeks?
Because we had to have not a burial, but obviously we had my mom cremated, but we had to have what do you call it, a memorial?
A service?
A service, And to be honest, I'm just gonna mention it. Yeah. My mom's viewing was 2 hours under a tarp in a parking lot, and it cost us $12,000.
And because of the whole COVID?
Yeah.
Wow. I saw that. Yeah,
we were there.
And then after that, and a regular, funeral is what? 2 days, 4 hours of viewing each. Ours was literally 2 hours. I was still floating. I don't know if you guys saw me. To me, it was like I was dazed. I was just like, is this really happening? Like, what the hell? And then after that, we had to clear out my mom's things at her apartment, knowing that, it was COVID infested, but like, just going through my mom's things and smelling her and all of those things, just going through her belongings was the toughest. Like, my sister and I were just drunk the whole time.
Oh.
Aww.
Because my mom kept a lot of her things, even from like 1980s, she kept it. And we smelt it. Every piece of clothing that we folded, there's a memory attached to it. Dude, my sister and I were just freaking balling, like,
So where are her things now? Is it your sister's house?
No, we got rid of, majority of it, we donated it. There's really no point of keeping it or like sending it back home, but dude, just smelling your mother,
it's never easy.
and just like the
losing a parent is never easy. Same thing that happened to me.
Hello.
Diba?
I didn't get a chance to say bye to my mother.
Diba special? What is so yung parang paano ba yun? We call each other parang special sa amin na ni Jhoie. Kasi we call each other during the time that we
Your
are.
Your dad
like,
also passed 2 days before my birthday.
Yes. Before your birthday.
How come someone has to die before?
Hindi naman. Wala yun.
But it's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw you do. I mean, you had the chance to talk to your dad and like spend time with him. I didn't. It's like from healthy, everything's great, fun. I'll get to see my mom the following week. It's just like gone.
Turning point, no? Masyado siyang turning point sa akin yun.
That was my turning point.
Turning point sa akin ang losing a parent because it's something that it's paano ka ba i-describe siya? Parang,
For me,
ang
when I,
nadadayaan ako. I felt
Unfair.
Unfair. Parang, so, okay lang kahapon, tapos
Yes.
ngayon, hindi na okay. Parang
you
gano'n.
felt robbed.
Yes. And up to now, nakuha ko naman yung maturity to accept things. It's just that sometimes napapailing pa rin ako.
I still talk to my mom. I look stupid, but I don't care. Like, I talk to her in the car. Like, when I'm at home, I'm like
I was
making
about to
something.
ask
I'm like,
what
I
do you
miss
do
you,
now?
Ma.
What do you do now? Ganun.
Like, for me, I make sure that I spend more time with my family.
Mm-hmm.
And
How do you change
that's
you?
actually that initiated the, alagaan mo yung sarili mo. It's always, mahalin mo yung sarili mo.
Wow, that's good.
And I reconciled with my dad that I
Good.
hated for years.
Mm.
So for me now, it's like when I speak to my dad, I mean, we talk all the time now. It's like nothing happens. Like I never hated him. Cause
Ganun naman ata talaga, no?
So remember you told me you're like when your dad passed, you're like, Jhoie, you do this now because you won't get to have this later on.
Yes.
And I never cared. I never believed it. But now the reason why I talk to my dad is because I do it in remembrance of my mom. Because I know, basically saying like, hey mom, like I'm taking care of Papa. I know this is supposed to be your job, but she would be like, basically, I think about it as like, oh, I'm not there anymore, so who's gonna take care of him?
Yes.
So I do it in memory,
mom.
in memory of my mom. It's like, Ma, I'm cooking chicken for
yeah.
dad or something.
I think we do things,
Woo!
we do things
First of all,
that na like si Jhoie, ginagawa niya, inaalagaan niya yung dad niya kasi binubuhay niya.
You do a lot of
Ako
things
naman,
in remembrance.
Ako
of your
naman, I
dad.
work out a lot. I started going back to fitness because yun ang way ko to para buhayin siya. Kasi there's moments that you reach your goals and you're so happy about it and you dedicate that.
But he's not there to be proud of you.
I'm okay that hindi siya nandun, but the fact that I am actually doing something
Yeah.
for myself,
I mean,
in
everybody have
respect
their own
of that
way to
memory,
go.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Diba? And it's never going to be easy,
To be honest.
It's never going to be. I don't think that it's every day. Right? It never miss a day. Always. Hindi siya
Dude,
nagmi-miss.
sometimes I would like wake up, go on with my day, and still think that my mom still lives like literally 5 minutes away from it. Until it clicks me, I'm like,
No.
oh, she's not here anymore.
Uh-oh.
I mean, I still talk. I still cry. Dude, the most random moment is when it hits you and you just sob.
Yes.
Like it just happened
Come on,
yesterday.
umiyak. Ako, umiyak ka pa.
Of course I
Ako,
do.
hindi ko alam paano ba. Hindi pa ako.
I still, dude, we're just watching TV and I just go, and he's like, are you okay? I was like, just give me a minute. And I give myself like a couple minutes to just cry, let it out, and then I'm okay again. I don't stop myself from crying.
What triggers your tears though?
When I
Was
hear
it
mama.
anything- Oh.
When I hear the word mama, or like when I watch something, it's about a mom and a daughter relationship. Dude, it's sometimes like, oh, I can do this, and then it just when you feel that pinch, dude, it
The
freaking
pinch.
hurts.
The moment that you feel the pinch, do not hide it. Be,
Yeah, just let it
be
go.
vulnerable. If you want to cry, cry. That's the
I do.
secret.
I cry.
And if feel the pain, wallow the pain. If you kung kailangan magwaling ka.
He does. I mean, Jeff
Kasi
doesn't say
ako,
anything.
ganun ang ginagawa ko. If
He just does this.
Yeah.
And I say it's good because he doesn't do anything to like make it even more of a big deal. It's just like I cry, and then after that I take a deep breath, and then I'm okay.
Tsaka alam mo pag nagka-text tayo, alam ko na connected pa rin kahit hindi nag-uusap.
That's what I like about us. It's
That's-
like everybody took their own journey, okay?
Yes.
And we respect that. It's like you never made me feel bad about the path that
No.
I took. Like it's and it's just the beauty of it. Like I know what you do and I respect what you do. And,
Yes.
oh my
We'll
God.
be very supportive of it.
Yes.
Minsan bigla na lang magsasabi kay Joey. Like, Joey just asked me recently, like on New Year's, sabi niya, ano na naman bago mong goal? Eh sinabi ko, mag-vlog
It was just a joke, and then now we're here.
Now, siya na po ang guest ko. Guys, tatapusin ko na to. Thank you very much. Napakasayang conversation. Akala ko mag-ano tayo. Akala ko makakabahan ako.
Wala naman nag-name drop, diba?
Wala naman nag-name
We
drop.
almost did, but...
If there's one thing I've learned from this conversation, true friendship matures, move forward to greatness, and never goes out of style.
Yes, regardless
Yes.
of the distance.
Again, like and subscribe to our channels. Follow us on our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, and YouTube. Till next week for another fun talks with real people close to you. Only here at Eastgate Real Talk. Again, thank you and good night.